Most women with Hashimoto's think they're dealing with a hormone problem. But what I see over and over again is something completely different. And it sounds like this. I feel like I'm living at 60%, maybe 70, on a good day 80%. But I can still function. I can still get through my day. So I tell myself, maybe Hashimoto's is not that big of a deal. And the women we work with aren't women who slow down. They push through. They figure it out. They keep going. So if their energy is low, they try harder. If their brain feels foggy, they double down. If they don't feel like themselves, they keep moving anyway. And from the outside, it works. But they feel it, that quiet knowing something has shifted. They're not as sharp. They're not as patient. They're not as present. And underneath it all, there's this sense of, I don't feel like me anymore. And the frustrating part is, most doctors don't really help here because nothing looks wrong enough on paper. I'm Dr. Avery Carpenter, and I've been helping women with Hashimoto's restore their energy and feel like themselves again for nearly 20 years. And this pattern, living at 60 to 80%, is incredibly common and incredibly misunderstood, partly because it doesn't feel urgent, but it matters more than most people realize. And part of the reason that it gets missed is because most approaches are focused on the wrong level of the problem. They're focused on hormones or perfect lab numbers. But what's often being missed is what's actually happening at the level of your cells, how they produce energy. There are two things happening here that almost no one explains. And once you see them, it changes how you think about your energy completely. Now, I want to ask you something that I ask my patients all the time. Imagine your body is a battery. And if you could look down and see a reading on your current charge from 0 to 100%, what would it say? What is your battery level? 40%? 60%? 75% on a good day? Be honest, because this question cuts through everything really quickly. And here's how I look at it. Anything under 80% isn't good enough. And this isn't because you're doing something wrong. This is because your body isn't functioning the way it's designed to. And it's designed to be healthy. And what most people don't realize is this isn't just about symptoms. It's about how much energy your cells are actually able to produce. This is where people get stuck because 60 to 80% feels manageable. It's enough to get through the day, enough to keep up, enough to not raise alarms. So it becomes normal. But that's exactly the problem. There are two really big consequences to this. And the first consequence is in the present. You're missing your life. You're still showing up, but you're not fully there. You're in the conversation, but part of you's tired. You're with your family, but your energy isn't fully present with them. You're doing your work, but it takes more out of you than it used to. Even if you're pushing through, you're not showing up as the full version of you. And that impacts everything and everyone around you who don't get the real you. And the second consequence is in the future. You can push through until you can't. What used to feel manageable starts to feel like too much. You can think, I used to power through, but now I can't. I can do one thing, but then I need to rest for hours. Or I have one good day and then I'm wiped out for two. That's your body moving from compensation to running out of reserve. And once you cross that line, it's much harder to come back. So if you zoom out, it comes back to that battery. At 60 to 80%, you can still function. You can keep going. But underneath that, your body is running on less and less reserve. It's doing everything it can to keep you going until it can't. And that's when symptoms escalate. It's not because something suddenly broke, but because your system has been underpowered for a long time. And just to give you a reference point, if I ask myself that same question about my battery charge, on a bad day, I might dip to around 90%. But most days, I'm at 98 to 100%. And it's not because I'm different. I have autoimmunity too. It's because I've learned what my body needs to stay there, and I live it every day. And this is exactly what I teach inside Hashi Freedom. Now, I see this problem shift for people all the time. So I'm going to give you 3 examples. I had one client came to us just wanting to be able to hike again. She didn't have the energy to do that anymore. Now she's doing 10 plus mile hikes and she's going on overnight backpacking trips with her friends. And also, we just found out her Hashimoto's is now in remission. She's over the moon about this, and we are too. Now, another woman I can tell you about, She didn't realize how much she had slowed down until her energy came back, and now she's taken up dancing every week. We also had a teacher who thought that she might have to retire early, which she didn't want to have to do. And now she's still teaching and loving it again. Once you really understand what's driving that number, it changes everything about how you approach your health. So if your number, the one you thought of earlier, was under 80%, this is the moment you need to pay attention, because this is the window where your body can still recover more easily before things get harder. And the shift that we focus on is simple. We're not chasing symptoms. We're restoring energy at the cellular level, because when your energy comes back, everything else gets easier. Now, if this is hitting a little too close to home, and there's part of you thinking, yeah, this is exactly where I am, then the next step is to understand why this is happening in your body and what actually moves that number back towards 100%. I put together a free training where I walk through the exact 3-step process that we use to restore energy at the cellular level and calm Hashimoto's down. That way you're not just managing symptoms, you're actually changing what's driving them. You can find that link below. I'll see you next time.